Hey everyone, and welcome to Stitchwick Creations. It's been a while, and I'm very sorry for that, but let's jump right into a new doll. This doll is a gift from my lovely friend Sabina, who has asked me to make her a doll of her live roleplay character, who is called May and is a Strawberry Princess warrior. So the pressure is on to do something that does her character justice, and something that I hope she'll like. We go through the usual steps of prepping the doll, cutting the hair down as far as we can to the scalp, and then using acetone to get rid of all of that factory paint. To remove the head, we dunk the doll headfirst into a cup of boiling water. Now these Generation 3 dolls are harder to get off the neck peg, and I don't want to break it, so we're spending some time soaking it a bit longer and using a screwdriver to just try and wheedle off the vinyl off those little pegs in the neck. After successfully decapitating the doll, we scrape out the hair plugs with a screwdriver and then pull out those plugs with some forceps. I pull a selection of fabrics out of my stash that I think are going to work for the doll, and then I'm going to sketch out some ideas for a new costume for her. As a warrior princess, we've got to look the part, we have to look amazing, also have to be practical when it comes to fighting. So we've got some cut-off trousers, some nice strong leather boots, a nice puffy shirt, and a long waistcoaty thing. And we can't forget her signature sword and strawberry shield, and her hat. Starting with the hat, I've just cut out these pieces that are kind of a bell shape. I cut out 4 of them and sewed them together piece by piece, and then tried them against the head. It turns out I only needed 3 of them because felt's a little bit stretchy and I could stretch it over her head to make it fit better. I'm going to hand stitch this because I'm worried it's going to get eaten up by the sewing machine because it's got such a fine line between the edge and where I'm sewing. Once we've got our strawberry bucket, we're going to turn it the right side out and give it a good stretch so it has a brim, and then yank it on over that head. For her trousers, I'm using this remnant of taffeta. I've made a trouser pattern that is wide enough to go around her hips, and I've pleated bits of it. The shirt is a Dr. DG Requiem pattern. I've just made the sleeves a bit bigger and widened the hips area because these dolls are a little thicker. I'm just going to sew these together and go down the pleats on the sewing machine. I haven't finished the waistline because I wasn't sure how much I needed to take it in. But it's actually not a bad fit. So I'm just going to turn over that top edge, turn under the legs, and sew it all together, and we'll sew them onto her at the end. For her waistcoat, I'm just using the body patterns of the shirt that I made and elongating it and changing the neck so it's a little bit steeper. I fray checked all the edges because it was fraying. And the sleeves I've just used fray check, I haven't turned them in because they were so fiddly. I'm just going to snip off the little stragglers here and add some bits and pieces, and we're all done. I planned on using this pleather for the boots, but it's awful. It just degrades and it splits, so nope. So I've gone through my stash of stuff. I've got this bright red thin leather, and I've got this other leather from scrap box and some other bits and pieces. The best colour fit was this stuff, but it was a little thicker than I actually wanted. Using the boots off Cleo Denial, I'm just going to stick some leather onto them because I sat and worked out for ages trying to make a boot pattern and they wouldn't have been sturdy enough on their own, and it was just awful. So we've got some nice chonky boots coming. I'm literally just gluing everything down with trusty Yoo-hoo glue, holding it in place so it sticks and trimming it down as I go. I'm making sure that I don't seal the gap at the back because that's where the heel comes down and the boots split open as you put them on and off. I clip everything in place with sewing clips and then trim everything off with a nice fresh sharp scalpel blade. To make these boots look a little fancy, I've got these little buckles. I'm going to cut a nice thin strip of leather and use them somewhere along the way to make them look like they've got a nice buckle on them. Onto the reroute. I've got this Caran hair that's black going into red, which is Sabina's hair colour at the moment, and I'm just going to plug it in at the centre point and have it fade into the red. As usual, I'm using my reroute tool and I'm just looping the hair over what was a needle. I've cut the eye in half so it's got a fork at the end, and I loop the hair on and then stab it into the head. I'm just doing the perimeter of the head at this point. After doing all around the edge, there's some discoloration. On her nose, her chin and her ear tips, the colour on the Caran has just rubbed off onto her face. So let's get on with the centre parting. I'm going to mask off her face and we'll deal with that in a minute. Keeping the hair separated, I'm just going to pin it off to equal sides to plait later, and then I can get around to peeling off the masking tape and re-cleaning her face with acetone, trying to get the worst of it off. To stop those pesky hair plugs coming out, we're just going to stick some more Yoo-hoo glue down the neck hole, smush it around and then let it dry. The masking tapes helped stop any further discoloration of the face. I'm gonna give it a quick wipe over with acetone. It did leave a bit of sticky on, so we had to give it an extra thorough wipe. I've braided the hair into 2 plaits and you can see some sticky there. Just going to get rid of the last of that sticky, then I can prep the face with some Mr. Super Clear and start on the face up. I put a poll up on Instagram and on YouTube to see if people wanted to see all the mistakes or just the best bits. Everybody said they want to see everything, so here's face up 1. After a layer of Mr. Super Clear, I'm using a neutrally coloured pencil to sketch out the eyes. I'm using watercolour pencils here. I will leave a list of materials down in the description box below. I wanted the doll to reflect Sabina's very cheery disposition and have a nice big smile, and I ended up not liking it. But still, let's carry on. I'm just going to carry on building the colours up on her face with the watercolour pencils and tweaking things as I go before I seal the first layer with the Mr. Super Clear. We're going to start building up the blush, some nice deep red. I don't know if it's blush or is it part of the strawberry heritage. I don't know. I build the colour up in several passes to make sure that it's not too deep or too red or too much. I'm just using my eraser pencil here to make sure that some of the details are still visible so that it doesn't bleed into her eye and across her nose too much. This brush had something stuck to the end, so made it very stiff, so I've trimmed it right back, and now I've got a nice stubby brush that's really good for getting into these crevices here and putting some shading in. I also start building up the whites in the eyes and on the teeth, and then I will use this red pencil to turn up the sides of her mouth to make her even more cheery. To even up the colour, I'm just using a little bit of water on a paintbrush and I'm just spreading the watercolour around to make sure it fills up the mouth and all the bits without being streaky. I think this may be the point where I realise that the eyes are off. But I'll keep going, because I always do this. Need to learn to stop and take a sit back and have a look, and look at it properly. Just as I was about to seal it, I had a look at it properly, and yeah, look at those eyes. Definitely on the skew. Don't like the mouth. Ugh. Nope. Start again. So back at square one, we're going to start again. We're going to sketch out those eyes and we're going to pay more attention this time, aren't we? I've tried to give her exaggerated smiley eyes because she is such a cheerful person. We have the regular cat interference. Thank you very much, Moose. I'm just going to add these 2 beauty marks that Sabina has on her face. Rather than me going over the steps over again, I would just like to say that I am sorry that I have been away for so long. Several things have happened. Whilst a lot of my doll friends have been having their children, I've been at the opposite end of the scale and my eldest has moved out. So we've been helping him move to his new place, which has meant I now have space for a new craft room, which I have been sorting out. I also had 2 painting commissions which I had to get done, which took up a lot of time. And yeah, it's been a year. So hopefully I am back. There may be some changes afoot as I have got issues with my hands with regard to hypermobility and my thumbs being difficult. So we are going to be trying some new things here on this channel. You'll have to let me know below what kind of things you'd like to see. Well, I don't know about you, but I certainly prefer this face to the other one. We're back onto the blush, or the strawberry features, not quite sure which they are, and yeah, I'm going to build that up again. Now, strawberry fairies, are these seeds or freckles? I think freckles. seeds from your face is a bit weird. May also has a little leafy sigil at the top of her head as well, so we are adding that with some green pencils. Now I'm happy with the eyes, I can go on to putting the resin on and finishing and sealing them off permanently. Now we get to add the details and all the fun bits. Now the hands are always a bit dull and I quite like painting the hands. I'm very sorry this isn't in focus. It's a new camera which seems to be much better than the last one. It's not doing the strange swimming thing. But I'm just blushing the knuckles and the inner part of the hand, and then I'll be using a tan coloured pencil to draw on the hand lines. We're just going to give her a subtle pink-red manicure and seal that with some resin as well. I'm just going to add some seed beads to the hat and make it look a little bit more like a strawberry. For the leafy bit, I've just got some velvet and I've made leaf shapes with some fray check. I'm just going to cut them out and sew them to the top. Usually I put all the clothes on at the end as a big reveal, but because we've got to sew May into her clothes, I want to do that before I make some of her accessories that I need to make alongside. I'm going to sew her into her trousers because I haven't got an alternative costume for her, and I don't think Sabina plans to undress her at any point, but that was the best way I could get it to fit without fiddling around with pleats and darts and stuff for a waistband. Now we need a belt. So using my trusty leather that I used for the boots, I'm going to make a nice simple belt that we can put her scabbard and a potion bottle on. I did try sculpting a sword and it was awful. I'm not even going to try and explain what I did, but toothpicks, epoxy sculpt, and it just ended up being a blobby, wibbly mess. But I did find this toothpick at a car boot sale, and apparently it's not a toothpick, a cocktail stick. It's a cocktail stick that was part of a set from the 70s, I believe. But I thought that was perfect. Watching this back, I realise I should have put all the sparkly stuff in and then added the resin. But instead we're just making a mess and we're sticking things into the messy stuff and getting stuff everywhere. So enjoy! Once the magic concoction is made up, we're just going to top it up with some resin and leave some around the lid, and then I'm going to set it with a UV torch, making sure that I don't hold the glass like I did last time I did this and burnt my fingers. After taking the initial photos, I realised I forgot the shield. So remaking the shield is just a nice thick bit of craft foam, and I'm just going to cut out a strawberry shape and then sketch it out and paint it. I've made a loop of elastic and I'm just going to use another thin bit of craft foam to go on the inside of that and glue it on with some more Yoo-hoo. I'm just marking out the details with a pointy stick from a sculpting set. And now it's just painting with some normal acrylic paint. This took 3 layers before it became fully opaque. Once it's dried, I'm going to use a sculpting rubber tool to do some yellow dots for the strawberry seeds, and then I shall paint it with some gloss varnish. And here are her final photos. Thank you for sticking around. If you have been here before and you're waiting for new things, thank you for waiting for me. And anybody who's new to the channel, hello, thank you for coming, and please consider to subscribe to my channel for more things. And I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Please leave any comments in the box below and I will enjoy reading those, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye!